If you are a parent right now in this generation, you need to give yourself a round of applause if you are parenting and succeeding.
It's tough.
Because
it's hard.
This generation, parents have it the hardest out of any generation ever. The economy is the worst it's ever been. Affordability is the worst it's ever been. Right now, I believe homes income to home price is about 8 times what your income is. So home affordability. Now, typically you want your home to be 3 times what the income is, right? That's how boomers was able to pay off their homes real fast. Right now, I believe nationwide is 5 times the average person's income, but we're in California, it's actually 8 to 9 times. So it's almost impossible to buy houses. And I know almost everybody, I know they got kids, they need space of a house. So we're battling with that. Groceries, sky high. I don't know how much y'all paying. I'm paying like $500 a week, not a month, a week on just groceries. So that's about $2,000 a month. And that's not counting eating out. And then this is one thing we don't factor in. We got to fight the algorithms and the internet. Our parents didn't have to fight that. So you can give your kid all the game you want. If you are not a reflection of the life they want to live, 9 times out of 10, they're following somebody who is, and they're going to listen to that person over their own parents. That's what's going on right now. You could talk to you blue in the face. Pops, you coming home dirty from the factory, from the warehouse, wherever you at. I want the new J's. You can't afford them this week because you had to pay the lights. And then I log on to Andrew Tate's on the yacht with 10 supermodels talking about if you ain't got a Bugatti, you ain't shit. Well, Pops got an old rundown caddy. He ain't got no Bugatti, so I guess he ain't shit. So that's one thing we don't factor in is, damn, all these influencers influencing our kids 24/7. And be real, your kids is at school more than they're around you, just like you at work, more than you around your kids. So realistically, how much time in your day do you have to lace your kids? Maybe 2 hours, maybe after work?
I think you got more than 2.
I think it's more challenging.
Before I go for short, you agree with what he said?
As far as fighting the influence,
is this the hardest it ever been to raise a kid?
Yes, because right now, corporal punishment now is frowned upon. When we were growing up, oh, come on, that's a bar. Corporal punishment now is frowned upon. If you were in a grocery store, hypothetically, and let's just say your 9-year-old child was acting up, throwing a tantrum. Now, we all know a 9-year-old's too old to be throwing a tantrum. I'm talking about head on the ground, stomping and all that. You used to pop the shit out that little kid. Motherfuckers wouldn't be like, oh, damn, that kid deserved it. Motherfuckers look at you like, oh, shit. Let me report this to children's services now. Because now they're looking at you as, you should handle that situation better when this child knows better, but they know that your parent can't hit me because on TikTok shorts, they're saying, if your parent hits you, that's corporal punishment. You can call this number and whoop-de-whoop. The kids have the power now over the parent.
I think too, you guys are competing against, or not competing. You guys are also competing against the past, which is the corporal punishment. Like, I think there's so many studies and some of the results from the boomers, millennials, Gen X, et cetera, the parenting styles, Gen Z, with the advancement of social media, access to information, we're finding out that a lot of ways that we were raised are negative. So I think now you have kids with access to information, you have these organizations, you have social media that's trying to give new knowledge to these parents that are new parents or been doing it for so long. Mm-hmm. So you guys are trying to parent the best you know how with what you were raised, and then also come to terms with, like, maybe some of that stuff has to be changed or have to implement new things because of, again, the results that the past has brought.
I look at it like this. That's a strong statement to make, especially knowing, if you think about the times before us, from the civil rights movement days to when gang banging first started really trajecting, from the crack era and things like that. I think it was a lot of obstacles, and it was still hard for people to go against when racism was heavy. I feel like kids got the most freedom than they do now. I think most people either, I don't want to say they had them too young. I just think you're fighting the net and everything else, but kids are more free. They could be free thinkers. They don't have to worry about what water fountain they go to. They don't have to be taught how to move out the house or worrying about going to certain places. They don't have to worry about sundown times and stuff like that. So I think it's hard to just say one era because they only knew what they knew back then. Even though social media didn't exist, they was up against a lot when it came to just even growing up.
I think that made it easier to parent because kids was more disciplined back then. They had, I'm not going to say more dangers, but they was more susceptible to listening to the parents. Not only that, there was the feminism movement yet, meaning that the woman actually listened to the man And the woman actually backed up what dad said. And the kids knew I couldn't separate my parents and go to moms and separate pops and have them arguing. That didn't exist. Whatever dad said, that was it. Now you arguing with your kids and you arguing with your baby mama because she telling the kids they ain't got to listen to you because you ain't shit. So that's one factor that we got to deal with. On top of when your kids turn 12, they can go to the doctor and just do whatever and they don't got to notify you. That never existed in history.
Medical records sealed.
On top of the teachers are grooming your kids. Your kids can go to school, be identified as a he, her, whatever they want. The teacher gonna call them that and not have to notify you. So it's all type of outside obstacles that I think even gangbanging, even the crack era, even civil rights, they didn't have to deal with this type of shit. Like literally, we're getting programmed by algorithms. So imagine what the 6-year-old and 7-year-old, because everybody got smartphones. Yep. As soon as your kid can say, dada, mama, they got a fucking cell phone.
Constant dopamine on that phone.
The dopamine overload.
And they were saying now, if you prevent your child to have screen time up to the age of 2, you have a better chance of having a smarter kid. So limit your child's screen time. But Kali, what you were saying about the old school parenting, I will agree. Corporal punishment can be excessive if it's done wrong, but I do feel like you need a fine balance. I do feel like certain things is butt whooping worthy, and then certain things are just worth talking about. I don't deserve everything resolves into a physical altercation, but certain things can. We talked about the situation with your son on his birthday party. I don't think that deserve a physical altercation. That was a stern talking to. But now if he takes your car while you sleep, you know what I'm saying, then wreck your car,
that might be different.
That may be one you may have to close the garage and you and your son got to handle. You know what I mean? It's certain things that you got to just put hand to belt on that thing, you know what I'm saying, when they acting up. But I do feel like it's a perfect balance you just got to juggle. But what it is like you said, with the feminine movement going.
Feminism.
The women have now taken over family court and weaponized it against the men. There is no way that we should have all these single mothers when we have black fathers that are the most active ever in history. We have so many court cases of a father giving up their rights because moms is making it hard for them to be in their child's life, bro. They have weaponizing against it because they're programming the women that they don't need fathers in the home.
Yeah, but I look at it too, like, I guess it's two sides to every coin, because are we speaking from just a black perspective, or are we speaking a whole perspective? Because it is women that still follow the ways of listening to their man worldwide, not just, we can say Western culture has been infected heavily, but we know going to different places, the women are about face. So it's a lot different. We can say, like I say, you can say either way. So I just look at it in the sense of overall, it's what you doing. What's like we talk about when you raising kids or they going out here and doing that, everything starts in the home first. These kids ain't getting raised. These kids are not naturally just being racist, but we know they have racist parents in the house. So they follow that ideology. So it goes the same with anybody else's household. You just need to invest more in your children than maybe we like to think. And I think things will be different. Because it is the mind. It is the mind. It's the mind because we're allowing them too much idle time. And the idle time we had was being outside, playing, being active. The idle time they got is sitting in the house, sitting in the room, don't want to do nothing. Some parents don't make their kids do shit. We couldn't leave. If we had something, my mama had something to do that day, we was going. Yeah. Or if we had to meet with other friends or family, we had to go. We didn't have a choice to go.
Option. Yeah, you're going. Right.
The reason I say we got less time is because parents are now working more to be able to just get by, just basic bills, just your mortgage, your car note, your car insurance, cell phone, groceries. Like that's just it. People are actually picking up 2 jobs now, like an average home, or you working buku overtime. So literally, I count the hours in my day. By the time I get home, I'm counting how many free hours I got,
like
bro.
4 or 5.
Not even 4 or 5. Because if you go to the gym, then you got to factor in traffic. Then you got to factor in just take podcasting out. Okay. If your kid do sports, you got to drop them off, pick them up. Dinner, you know what I'm saying? And trying to spend time with your lady or your man, and trying to spend time with the kids, homework. Like, bro, you literally may be lucky to have an hour. And then you still got to decompress your goddamn self because you're still mad from traffic and slaving at work all fucking day. So you ain't in no right state of mind to be coming to try to lace your kid up. That's why most parents is like, here, take the phone.
Yeah, let me get a second to decompress.
Let me get a second to decompress.
But like we say, all that is excuses. Not saying excuses because you right about everything as far as the time and everything else. It's hard to manage that. But like you said, when you hit the gym, okay, you got a son. Now maybe you can hit the gym at home with him. That's some time spent that y'all could be having conversations. So it's different ways I think you can go about it. Not saying it's easy. Like you said, everybody need alone time. You need to decompress. But think about the families before. When we was growing up, everybody had about 4 or 5 brothers and sisters.
Sure.
So it was nowhere to go. Yeah,
now
niggas
you
on the
just nowhere
couch,
to go,
nigga.
but they had a lot more on their plate dealing with all them kids. We got people stressing over one kid nowadays.
That's true.
But the biggest factor I do want to say is the living is way harder as far as expenses wise. So that does play a big part on a lot of families.
And
that's all I'm
it's not
saying.
only that, it's the fact that we're able to view other people live their lives at a great rate. Like back in the day, you might have only had a 1-bedroom apartment. Maybe you had 4 or 5 kids in there. And it was bad, but you couldn't get online and then see somebody half your age on a yacht. Like that also
Comparison.
we don't factor in the
Bro,
mental
we
toll
entitled-
That's what I mean by
that
social
these
media.
things take on us.
If that's the
Facts.
case, we are teaching our kids and these children to be too materialistic. We way too materialistic out here. Anywhere I've ever been, they don't even that stuff don't even matter. Nigga.
I agree.
No Louis, no Gucci, no Benz, no Beamer. When you go to across the country or to certain states besides like the big ones, none of that matters. We allow them to. They get everything. They got all the video games. They got all the stuff. Like all the kids are too materialistic and comparing too much. Even if we we grew up without a car, but that it was a thought, but it didn't really bother me. You get what I'm saying? Like, or even when other people had stuff, that didn't really necessarily. Yeah, I wanted that, but it was like I know we can't get that right now.
And
so
I agree.
And you got to look. The depression rates in kids is the highest it's ever been. Suicide rates is the highest it's ever been. Parents are now having to deal with, school shootings is the highest it's ever been. It's just too many different factors that's going on right now that parents of the past didn't have to worry about. Like if you was a dad, you had a daughter, keep her off the whole show, keep her off the pole. That's it. You got to keep your daughter off OnlyFans, Instagram, TikTok, like so many different apps, Twitter. You got to worry about fucking sex traffickers trying to lure your kids off the video games. Roblox. It's so many different factors that we got to factor in that our parents didn't. Is, hey, when you go outside, you walk home from school, you see a big white van, duck behind the car. You know what I'm saying?
Don't answer the door for nobody.
Walk towards traffic. You know what I'm saying? Don't walk too close to the streets. If you're walking with your sister, you walk on the outside by the simple shit.